Alright, real quick one. The car has already made about 455 horsepower on 6 pounds of boost. So this is when we fired up the camera and we're like, we're going to turn up the boost now and start pressing on and checking our gains and everything else and hopefully do really well. So right about here, I wasn't getting any boost and I wasn't sure why. I just wanted to make sure I did a bunch of stuff right. I was checking my logs and making sure the boost duty cycle output was working correctly and why wasn't it doing what I asked. Because when I'm on the dyno, I like to do the fixed solenoid, so there's no excuses like this. So when everything's set, you see how everything's working, blah blah blah. So anyway, we figured out I have my boost controller wired to a switch, and I was not turning the switch on.
Not getting any.
So sometimes it's real simple stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, switch is on now. All right, ready to go.
Now, it should be 7.1 pounds. So from 6 pounds to 7 pounds, what did I pick up? 450 to 480 something? Right?
Yep.
Let me jump out so I don't hit you. Stand still. So whenever I get excited and I'm on camera, I can't do math in my head. I'm not good at mental math anyway. So what we're gonna do quick is open the calculator. So everything's right. So it's less than a pound of boost I added. So what was the average of roughly, we'll say out of these couple, it was what, like let me use the cursor quick. We'll say this is the average, 455. So we'll say 488 minus 455. 488 minus 455, 33 horsepower per pound, which is what I was making before.
Good.
Over 30 horsepower per, it's not even a pound.
Yeah.
I went from 6.2 to 7.1. So it's like almost, I would guess that it makes a little bit more than 33 horsepower per pound. So that's the trend we're gonna look for as we go up. And when this starts to go away and inlet temp starts to get out of control is when you know you're done on your turbo. There's no point leaning on it. Really good, 33 horsepower per pound. I didn't even wind it all the way out.
No, you didn't. No.
I lifted at like 6 because I'm like, oh, it's only making a pound more. So it might even do a little bit more, you know, it was on this trend, so it looks like it's gonna do the same. But yeah, good spot. 3 rear wheel per pound, conservatively, really, really good. Really, really, really good. So what, I'm at 15, so we might as well go right to 25. Right, what do you think?
Yeah.
That's funny that like I never remember to turn on my own.
The boost switch.
I'm like ready to fuck with everything.
Ready to change the module,
Get ready
the
to fuck
solenoid.
myself over. So let's hit get from ECU quick, because what it's going to do is it's going to show the learn table. I got to remember to change my boost amount once it grabs everything. Come on. Come on. So we go to fuel, learn, only like 4 or 6%. So it's taking more fuel up top with the Summit cam than the prior combination. Interesting, right?
It is, wasn't it? The other cam was bigger too, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's not a turbo kit. It's an off-shelf, sloppy stage 2 off-shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the tune from, you know, I never tuned it with the 232. That other cam, it blew up before I got to do anything.
Correct.
I hear everything creaking.
Yeah.
All the hot pipes.
It's hot. It's flexing in.
They're moving around, for sure. Okay, so we'll change the output real quick to 25%. Highlight this whole bitch. 25. Okay. Send it to the computer. Send the fuel changes. Now we're ready to start it. And we got my switches on. My trans is only at 128. I'm at 192 water temp, but it always gets hotter when it sits. Like as soon as I fire it and you get the water pump circulating, it usually starts to drop off. So that was 9 pounds.
Wow.
Come on. $535.
Yep.
Nice. So now we'll go to like, maybe I'll start putting fresh, well, once I start making more power, I'll waste my fresh plugs on the back cylinders and we'll check the strap. Or I'll do
Right.
number one where it's been fucking scattering itself, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we could check that one in the rears.
9 pounds, 20 degrees of timing. Manifold temp starts at 73, ends at 77.
There you go. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, really good. Everything's working really good together. Okay. I figure it would start coming up more. Maybe it will once my... This 4 ports are funny. It's one of those things where like it's 1 pound, 2 pound, whatever, and then you're like 10%, and it's like 10 pounds.
It's a lot more. Isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
it gets really
It kinda
sensitive in the
jumps
middle.
then, yeah.
That's why you kind of approach them at 10. Like if it's a 3-port and it has a lot of, if it's a small turbo and a 3-port, I'm like, 30,
Yep.
60, and then it's usually like less than you think you would get. But a big turbo and a 4-port, it's like, fuck yeah. I think 50% made 26 pounds
Wow.
roughly. So see if it does the same with this cam and everything else. We'll do a 35% hit and see, man, it's just climbing on power like crazy all the way out. Right when I lift is where peak power is. Really good. Okay. And that tiny ass rad is doing
Yeah,
pretty good. It's
it
hanging
is.
in like 180 range.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll connect them. We'll look at the learn table quick. I don't think the closed loop was working hard. I don't think. Oh no, it was adding 9%. So it learned like 3. So I'm actually going to go into the fuel table. I'm going to apply the learn quick. Oh, we'll hit, see what we're going to do is we're going to hit get from computer. See if it's throwing percentages, it's throwing fuel at it. That's why it made more on the consecutive hits, because it doesn't have to, when the closed loop doesn't have to work as hard, the car makes power easier. So poly, you just hit transfer and it does. Fucking nice, right? So
Yeah,
this, you
simple.
can see it keeps adding here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna throw, the percentage thing is funny sometimes. Let me see how it works. I think you can just type in 10%. Yeah, everything went up by 10%. So next time it comes up here, it's gonna trim fuel instead of adding it. Here we're just going to anticipate it's going to need a lot more. So I'm just going to throw 10% up here too. Offset 10%. So now it'll just be trimming, which is where you want to be. You don't want it to be adding the whole time. It's kind of bad news. Smooth that out. Perfect. Okay. So now we got that going for us. So we'll go back to the boost, dyno boost output. That's the fan running the whole time, killing my fucking battery. So we're going to go to 35% now and see what kind of boost it makes. So we're anticipating it being more, right?
Yeah.
Actually, that's the trans fan, right?
That's the trans fan there that you switched on.
Yep. All I hear is clunking under this thing. Send the ECU. Neutral. The new tune is in. We're at 35%. Ready to rock?
Yep.
Oh. Not good.
Turn the fan off.
You got cables here?
There's a charger right here too we can hook up.
Oh, I think that's good. No, that one's shit. There's a better one in the office, I think. pounds.
616 at 12 pounds.
35% duty cycle on the boost controller. 12 pounds, it looked like. I was watching everything at once, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, it did hit 13. I saw like 12.8 here, yeah, so 13. 13 pounds, 20 degrees. Yeah, we're still going up. That was a big increase. What, we went from like 530 to 6 something. So yeah, I want to get closer to 20 and then start putting freshies in it probably.
That works.
What do you say? Temps are great so far. Fucking race car. 45, that should bring us up. So what are we at? So 616 minus 535, 81 horsepower, and I went up 4 pounds, I think. So it's like
9 to 13.
It's making like 20 horsepower per pound right here. But I haven't even messed with the ignition yet. I wanted to get it up into like the 700, like the 20 pound range. It made 730 on 20 pounds before. It's already closing in on 700 on 13 pounds.
Yeah.
It's made 6. So another 80 horsepower is another 4 pounds of boost. Crazy.
That is crazy. It's all working pretty well.
Yeah, and then I want to move the ignition around on 20 pounds. Yeah, it's doing really good. I go to 28. And we'll set cut at 33. See what you want it, well, it's not going to run that anyway, so it doesn't really matter. We'll have a cut on 33, fuck it, we'll ride it pretty hard. If she goes, she goes. Well, I assume it's going to quit making power at some point. So that was at, let's open this. 12 pounds was at 35. I already made the change to 45. So we'll dunk this in. And it hasn't really had a temp issue in the last 6 hits.
No.
So we'll go right to, I'll flash this in. It's only 180.
Yeah, 184 only.
And like I said, that's water sitting in the cylinder head.
Yeah.
So as soon as I start it and get into high gear, it's going to be probably 179 or 70. Classically where it's been. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we had a somewhat eventful day, and then a pretty much tragic day. Not catastrophic day. That's to be determined. But we had some issues. We resolved them pretty easily. We got right back on the road, and this should be good. So we got on the dyno. I'm going to show you the video. This is aftermath. There's no rods hanging out of the block, but I had very interesting stuff happen, and now no more power. Well, the car stopped running right, and I was like, I'm too foggy today to 100% figure this out. So I'm like, let me just load this thing up. I have way too many responsibilities to burn some time on this thing, burn any more time on this thing. I'm like, I'll bring it home, I'll think about it, and then we'll get at it. So, I was working my way up. It made like 455 on 6 pounds. Really good. It was making 30 horsepower per pound, 33 horsepower per pound conservatively. So I took a bunch of timing out of it, and I was working my way up in boost, and got my boost controller working good. The solenoid's still fine. All that stuff is good. So, are we good here? So I got up to about 18 pounds, and I made 690, and partway through the pull, it let go like an intercooler pipe kind of came off. And there was no, it made like an odd noise, but there was no metal blender is what I like to call it. There was no catastrophic like rods all over the place. It didn't happen. So we were kind of stunned. And my data log, the RPM was all over the place on slowing down. And one of my clues was, right when we lifted it, man, the heads are really cleaning up already. Right when I lifted, when it felt funny, it felt like an intercooler pipe came off, I lifted. So, right then I got weird RPM signals from the engine. And I was already off, and I just let it decel and shut off. And I'm like, well, let's check everything quick. And we didn't find rods on the floor, and we didn't find any other issues. So I'm like, what happened? Did we, something leaking, or do we, like, what did we break? Like, it seems like the motor's okay. You hit the starter and the motor would spin. So I'm like, maybe I dropped a valve, because I'm looking at the data log, and when I lifted the throttle, I had about 2 pounds. No vacuum. I had like manifold pressure. So I'm like, man, that's a clue to me, is that like a valve got hung open and there's still pressure in the intake from the combustion of the engine spinning, filling the intake. That's how that happens. And then we couldn't find anything. We cracked the valve covers, and none of the valve springs are broken. I thought I broke a valve spring, dropped a valve, broke a valve spring. So that didn't happen either. And I was like, you know what, dude? I can't invest my brain into this right now. I have too much other stuff to do. So I got that stuff done real quick. And I've been thinking about it while I've been doing my other adult responsibilities. And my buddy Mark goes, maybe you broke the timing chain. I'm like, yeah, that sounds a lot like I probably broke the timing chain, which would be really unfortunate, but we're going to see real quick if I did. So, everything is good. I took the valve cover off, so now the engine spins very fast, like something valve related happened. But the valves seem okay. But, if we turn the motor over and none of this valve train works, we did break the timing chain, which sucks. Which really sucks, because I've never done that, and it would be a pain in the ass if it happened. So can I look into the engine bay and push this at the same time? Yep, for sure. For sure broke the timing chain. That sucks, huh, guys? Because I bet, we bent some valves for no reason. And I'm hoping when we bent the valves, it didn't bend any rods. It made 690 rear wheel on a partial hit on 18 pounds. It was really doing good, and then let go on the partial 690 hit. It was probably gonna make 700 on 18 pounds, and just let go. So it broke the timing chain. So at least I can leave everything in the car. Not really. I'm gonna take like half of this shit apart. It sucks, huh? I mean, this thing's really fighting me. It's really testing my resolve. So, I don't think I've ever once broken a timing chain, but here we are. So, this is a 80,000 mile engine that we gapped all the rings in and put the stock timing chain on with only 80,000. Mind you, I normally get motors with like 250,000 miles, 330,000 miles, no problem. So, this guy broke a timing chain. Yep, definitely broke a timing chain. Or something crazy happened, like the bolt backed off, which I doubt. Man, I've never had that happen either, but I've never broken a timing chain. So we'll get the front of the motor off, and I have to pull this down pipe, and I can take the timing chain out, and then we can see what happened there. So the timing chain's probably laying in a pile inside the timing cover there, unfortunately. So that's how we did today. Some good and some bad again, always.